So, what do you think I'm working on now? Well, there's a lot of fabric here, which will eventually become Christmas bags. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog for Monday, November the 14th, 2022, vlog number 290. So let's jump right into what I've been working on, shall we? Well, you can see these. These are blocks for the quilt I've been working on for a while. I haven't been putting my whole attention to this quilt because, well, Christmas is getting in the way, right? I'm still working on Christmas things, and more about that in a moment. But this is the quilt called the Mosaic Stars by Stephanie Stitches. And it's going to look spectacular, I think. Those fabrics I'm using in it are absolutely gorgeous. And yeah, so I'll keep you posted on that project. And I need to clear my throat. Little frog there. Okay, what's next? Okay, let's see if we can get what's next. There we go, Christmas bags. Now I haven't got them all laid out so you can see them. I've got them hung up out in my Lucy room where the long arm is, and I've made 4 so far. I think I need about a dozen. So I'm doing them on my embroidery machine. At least the design that's on it is on the embroidery machine. The bags, of course, I have to sew together. They're fully lined, and that fabric that I'm using is quilted. I quilted it myself on Lucy. They're coming along nicely. Now, Walter's working on a set of Christmas bags as well. His will be much more spectacular because Walter makes beautiful bags. His will be in two different colors. They'll look very, very fancy. Mine are everyday totes. Walter makes couture bags. So if you watch Stephen Walter live on a regular basis, or even right here, when he gets those bags done, I'll be sure to show them to you. I hate him. And this. Okay, I am proud of this. This was the block of the month project that I've been working on since March through Ultimate Sewing. It was a class with Donna, the hostess with the mostess, and it was a Zoom class. And we have finally gotten the last month instructions for this, and I have it all assembled. Now, it hasn't been quilted yet, but that's going to happen probably later this week. I'm hoping to get it up on Lucy and get started on that. But I'm really pleased with how this has turned out. However, it was not easy. I will say that. And part of the problem was not so much with the pattern instructions as much as with my color scheme. Of course, you know me, I go bold and beautiful, and this one's no exception to that. And with that many pieces in it, and you have to make sure you get them all matched up because there are secondary designs throughout this quilt. The border alone, where you see the star points on the corners and that kind of thing, and the picture doesn't really do it justice. In real life, it is very spectacular. Took me several tries to get the borders right. I kept putting pieces out of order and it was screwing up. So, but I persevered. I got it. It's done. I've had Walter scrutinize it, looking for mistakes. I am pretty sure there aren't any mistakes in this because I have been really, really picky. And if I came upon a mistake, I fixed it. Even if it was a pain in the butt to have to rip it out and resew. But I did. So this is very large. It's about 95 inches by 96 inches, almost a square. So it should just fit on my Lucy for quilting it. Now I have to check in my supplies to see if I have backing fabric that's big enough for this, and that will work with it. If not, I may have to go out and invest in some. So I may check that out later today. But yes, it is done. This part of it anyways, the top, and I'm very, very proud of it. Okay, so that takes me to YouTube channel of the week. If you like history, and I do, I'm almost have a minor degree in history. In fact, the only reason I don't have a minor degree is because I didn't have a major. When I went to university, in the university I went to, I have a specialized honors BA in English, which meant that I concentrated most of my courses on English. So I think I'm 2 credits short of having a minor in history. But the reason being was just the way things were done at that particular university in that particular time period, and that's fine. At one point in time, I thought I'd be a history teacher, but nope, I ended up as an English teacher, and yeah, I'm happy about that. But anyways, I love history, and this channel is called Absolute History, and well, here's my review of it. This week's YouTube channel is one called Absolute History, and I love these kind of channels because I learn quite a bit from them, and I do have a fondness for history. And this one caught my eye because I came upon a video to show you here. What was it like for a Victorian servant? Um, and they compare the real life form of Downton Abbey with the program. And it's very eye-opening and makes you really thankful that we are in the 21st century. And although we may complain about our working conditions, the servants in the Victorian age had a lot more to complain about. But they didn't. They just kept up with their job. But there's so much more on this channel, as you can see as I scroll through. But let's go into their video list and see how this is organized. So what they have is they really don't have, well, they do have quite a few different things. Let's go to the playlist. It might be easier to see what they have there in. They have art history, the Shakespeare Code, the 18th century, medieval history, ancient history, the Edwardians, and it goes on to women's history, nations at war, the Victorian house. Everything you've ever wanted to know in history is here. So, you know, if you have a love of history, this might be a site for you to go to because it's entertaining, but it's also very, very informative. Very much like watching a documentary, although shorter. So you will find the link for Absolute History in the show notes below. You'll also find a link for Stephen and Walter Live. Again, we had quite a varied discussion about a lot of different things this week, as we often do. There's the latest edition of the Idiot Quilter, and there is an interview. Yes, I have an interview this week. In fact, for the next few weeks, I'm going to have an interview for each week. I'm kind of stockpiling them right now. So the link for that, The Idiot Quilter Presents, is in the show notes. And there is a link to our latest episode of So Chatty. We took a little different bend this week on So Chatty. Usually we're talking about sewing and quilting. Well, we still were, but this time we decided to go down memory lane and talk about our creative endeavors when we were much younger and how all of those things we did then have led up to what we do now. So those are all there for you. And of course, there is the link for the Sew and Craft with me, the permanent Zoom link. I got together with a few people last Wednesday because I had some time then. And you never know when I'm going to be online, but don't get frustrated. Just try at your convenience. And maybe our 2 times will dovetail and we can have a little time. I'm actually thinking about doing some maybe today or tomorrow. I don't know yet. We'll see. Okay, moving on. Looking out my window today. Now, when I took this picture, it was dark still outside. In fact, it's still dark outside, and it is now 7:07 in the morning. But of course, we had the time change there a week or so ago, and that's what it's like now. We won't start seeing light until around closer to 8 o'clock. But anyways, this is the night vision camera, I guess, on the Ring doorbell, and you can see things are looking, well, they do look gray, but that's because it's night time. But we're in November. November I always find is a bit of a dreary month. You know, we don't know from one day to the next if it's going to be cold or it's going to be warmer. We don't know whether we're going to wake up to snow or not. So far, we have not, but other parts of Canada have been buried in snow, especially out west. Is it cold? Yeah, Today, it's right now, according to my watch, it is -2 degrees C. So it's below freezing. So it's around about 30 degrees Fahrenheit, 29 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. So yeah, we're definitely getting into moving towards winter. Of course, winter doesn't arrive until December the 21st. The snow can stay away for as long as it wants, as far as I'm concerned. But November, it's just a gray month. November and February are two of the bleakest months, I think, of the year, in my opinion. But, anyways, Christmas is just around the corner for you Americans. Thanksgiving is very close. And then, of course, the big Black Friday. And, well, after American Thanksgiving, everything is going towards Christmas, right? In our neighborhood, people have already started putting up their Christmas lights. And I'm sure some of them have Christmas decorations up. I refuse to Christmas decorate until the 1st of December. Yeah, I know lots of people love Christmas so much that they start decorating in October, even before Thanks or before Halloween is over. But I'm not one of those, you know. But I gotta start thinking about it soon and digging everything out from the crawl space. And I will do some videos about my Christmas decorations this year. Um, I don't know what I have planned for all of that. I did order something from Amazon. I ordered some picks. They call them picks. Seems to be real trendy. People buy these picks that have, things on them like pine cones or more foliage or something like that. And I guess you stick them in your tree in around the open spaces in the branches and it fills out your tree more. Well, we don't have a really huge tree. We have a tabletop tree. But I thought might be kind of fun. So I ordered a bunch of these and we'll see what I do with them this year. Okay, so that's what was looking out my window this morning. So that takes me to what's pissing me off this week. Well, okay. You saw in the title, I had, uh, death, greed, or death, money, and greed is what I called this episode. Um, Earlier in the week, I got news that a friend of ours that's been in the hospital since the summer, basically, he had a brain bleed, not in really great shape, although he was going through therapy. He lost his ability to walk, but they've been working with him on that. They have had him on a whatever for breathing as well. But he was getting better. And in fact, they were talking about him coming home. Well, first of all, they said he would probably be released from the hospital before Halloween, but he had a little bit of a relapse, and so then they extended it to into early December. Well, we got news today from his partner that he passed away. He was 76 years old, full of life. I really admired this man at his age. I mean, not that 76 really is that old um, by today's standards, but, it's up there. But he was very active. He was still working part-time. He worked as a receptionist for a talent agency kind of a thing in Toronto, um, full of life. And he was struck down with this, and it is very sad that he has passed on. Um, and I know some of you will send condolences. You don't need to feel like you have to because, and this is going to sound really cruel, but he wasn't a close friend. Okay, he was more than an acquaintance, but less than a close friend, kind of a thing. But nevertheless, it is always sad when something like this happens. Um, well, you know what happens when people pass away? A lot of people come out of the woodwork that you don't know or never been around for a while because they're looking for something. And usually it's money. Well, this is no exception to the rule. This gentleman, earlier in his life, he was married. He's gay. Uh, but he was married. He had two children who are grown up now, and he has a couple of grandchildren as well. Now, his relationship with his ex-wife and with his children, from what I understand, was not very good. If you asked him about that life, he would not discuss it. And you knew from the look on his face if you asked anything that don't go there. And that's fine. We respected his privacy. However, there's somebody who's been really been being a pain in the butt, who supposedly is one of his closest friends, or is one of his closest friends, who's been all over his partner's uh, situation, giving him a really hard time. Now, I don't know the details, but I know it hasn't been good. Also know that this individual, and I don't know this person at all, wrote up on Facebook a horrible comments about the fact that in the obituary, nothing was mentioned about his children. Well, I know what was in his obituary because I wrote it. His partner asked me to put it together for him. You know, you get asked these kind of things because being an English teacher, everybody figures you can write the great Canadian novel. And that's okay, though. I did not mind doing it. I mean, yeah, I did mind doing it because I didn't know this person who'd passed away well enough. So I asked his partner, just jot out some points you want to be in there and I'll structure it for you. And, and I did. And it was fine. He liked it. It worked out. But in that obituary, the only people that were mentioned, you know how in an obituary they usually mention, loved ones, family, friends, things like that. He mentioned his 5 sisters were named. They live, I believe, they all live out in Western Canada. I'm not absolutely sure about that. And his 2 grandchildren. But it didn't mention anything about his son or daughter or his ex-wife. Well, maybe you can see why they wouldn't mention the ex-wife, but why wouldn't you mention his children? But as I said, there was something not good there in that relationship, and I don't know what it was. In fact, his son had passed away while he was in the hospital, and I am sure there was a story there. I don't know what it is. I've only heard rumors. It sounded to me like the son may have OD'd. I don't know. I have no idea. But nevertheless, this other person decided to basically bitch in a public forum about my friend, about this guy's partner. I'm trying to avoid using their names just in case, other people who know them see this kind of a thing. I'm trying to respect their privacy. So he wrote that, the loving daughter, the loving um, son, all the whole bit should have been mentioned, and that basically the partner was just being completely insensitive and horrible and all this. And he was not. He was respecting the wishes of the deceased, basically. And this other person, you know, whatever reason they would write this, I don't know. But, that's really hard on the people who are left behind, especially the partner. He's, he was tending to the deceased. He was looking after him in the hospital. He was doing all that stuff. Yeah, he's going through trauma right now. He's lost his soulmate, basically. So yeah, and then the daughter, we checked out her Facebook page, and she is writing all these, oh, my dad is gone, I'm so sad, he was a wonderful father, blah 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 blah. Yet from what we understand, that wasn't really the case. Her relationship to her father was nothing that dear in life. So what do you conclude from all this? Well, we don't know if there's any money. We don't know what the deceased had planned, according to the will and things like that. But it just smacks of people coming out of the woodwork and figuring they can get something out of somebody's loss. They're looking for money. And I've seen that in so many families and things. When somebody passes away, the long lost relatives come out of the woodwork and are there with their hand out, and it is just a sad thing when that happens. And it's upsetting. It's not upsetting to the deceased because they don't know. but it's upsetting to the people they've left behind that cared about them. It's like, hasn't the partner of this person already gone through enough hell? You know, the deceased was in the hospital since the summer. The partners had to maintain, their house, work, bring in money, look after the needs of the whole bit, and now has to put up with this kind of crap from these other greedy, selfish individuals. And that's just not right. But it happens, and I am sure everybody out there has a story that's similar to this one. I guess what pisses me off, though, is the people who think they're going to get something for nothing. Like on the weekend, we were at a sew day. More about that a little later on. And we ran into some other friends that knew the person who passed away. And we're talking about the funeral arrangements and what they're going to do. And it's the partner is concerned about leaving people out. Where should he have the service? The deceased worked in Toronto, had a lot of friends, colleagues that he worked with, who would probably want to come and show their respects. And it will be a celebration of life kind of a thing. But then there's a whole bunch of the deceased friends who live in this area. So, and how many do you expect to come? Because, want to do sort of a reception kind of a thing afterwards. These are details, and everybody knows about these kind of things because I'm sure most people have, had some connection with a funeral and know how that all works. But I said to this friend, I said, people will show up out of the woodwork because they may not have ever had much to do with the person who's passed away in life, but suddenly they come to the funeral or to the celebration of life or whatever, and they come to be seen because they're afraid people will think badly of them if they don't show up. Yet they didn't have, they didn't bother to show or to visit the person maybe when they were in the hospital or, at other times. But they show up for this. And it's all about them. It's not about the person who's passed on. So in a sense, there's two kinds of greed, isn't there? Money grabbing and reputation grabbing, because that's what it is. They show up, they make an appearance at the funeral, and then they leave. Okay, we did our duty, we were there, people will think nice of us. I don't know. Personally, I don't know if I'm going to go. Why is that? One, I do not like funerals, celebrations of life, anything. I don't. Two, this person, as I've already said, was not a close friend. More than an acquaintance, but less than a close friend. Three, I probably won't know most of the people that will show up there. So Walter and I would end up standing off in a corner. And I don't want to be one of those people who just show up to be seen. I don't care what people think about me because I don't even think they really worry. I don't think they really give a, flying rat's ass whether or not I'm at that. And that's fine. That's fine. It's not about me. Okay? It's not about me. We'll see. We don't know what the plans are yet. We haven't heard. So we'll see. But anyways, that's what's bugging me this week. Is just, death is a sad thing. It is. But to compound the whole thing with people that have their hand out looking for either attention or money is just greedy. No. No. People need to get a grip. Okay, let's move on to product review. Okay, last week I mentioned we got a grow light system. Well, things are planted in the grow light system, and well, I can show you a little picture here of what things are looking like. Look, we have green stuff in there. Now, right now, this picture is dark around it because I got up close, and the top of the grow lights, they're adjustable. So when you first start out, apparently, according to the instructions, you keep the light low, and as things grow, you move the light up. So you can see right there, we have a little bit of greenery. So it's coming. Those are herbs, and we are going to try to grow some lettuce. Yeah, that may be a failure, but have you checked out the price of lettuce lately? Um, yeah, we went off to a restaurant uh, last Thursday night, and I ordered with my order. I wanted a side Caesar, and the girl says, "I'm sorry, we don't have any salads. We don't have any romaine. Apparently, there's a shortage." So Walter looked it up. Yes, there is. Not only that, there's some kind of virus attacking the crop in California where this all comes from this time of the year. So romaine has gone, and so has regular lettuce, has gone right out the roof. Like $7 for one of these bags that has 3 hearts of romaine in them, which aren't very big. We will at times buy those, but they're $7. They used to be like 3 something, and I'm talking Canadian dollars. Apparently, iceberg lettuce is like over $4 a head. Iceberg lettuce and that kind of thing. So, yeah. So we figured, what the hell? We've got some lettuce seeds left over from the summer. We're going to try grow our own under lights, see what happens. It may not work, but we might as well give it a shot, right? So, yeah, the grow lights are working away and doing their thing. Okay, so I am going to insert, though, a little bit more of a detailed video about our grow light system right here for you. Just a quick update about our grow light system. Walter has got some things planted in here, and we've just started it. So you lower the lights to a little closer to the plants themselves. And this is on a timer as well. So there'll be, I've set it for about 16 hours of light during the day. And you can see it's got some little blue stick things in here with names on it. And it looks like we've got some basil and parsley and rosemary and thyme and oregano. And what's that one? Chives and tarragon. So we'll see how this works out. Okay, so that takes me to my 3D corner, and I've really slowed down on making things with that because I'm running out of ideas. And I mentioned that last week. Well, one of my subscribers, Cheryl Curley, sent me a message saying, what about a chess set? Well, I don't play chess, but I thought, that might be kind of interesting. So I did a search, and you never guess what I found. I found gnomes. Yes. I found a complete chess set that's made up of gnomes for each of the pieces. So I've got those all printed out right now. Now I'm looking for a design for a chessboard that I can 3D print that will kind of show these off. This is just for fun. I don't play chess. I tried chess when I was in grade 8, joined the chess club, never really got into it. But anyways, kind of fun. But now I'm out of ideas of what to print. So, if anybody else has some suggestions, write them in the comments below or send me an email and I'll take a look because I'm out of ideas. Okay, so that takes me to my continuation of the Blast from the Past trip videos of Australia. And this is another several parts in this. This is the first part. We're still in Perth in Australia. It's February the 28th, but this is our last day in Perth.
What? Yeah. Well, this is our last day in Perth. And yeah, I think we've overstayed our welcome anyways. So we're going to check out the bell tower and then I don't know what. We're a little Perth out. I think we've seen everything that you need to see in Perth and then some. And so tomorrow we get up early, have to catch our flight to Sydney. And we'll see what Sydney's all about. Since we've already been to Sydney before, it'll be interesting to see what it's all about now this time, what our impressions are. Okay, so we're in the bell tower now, and these have bells that come from some old church, St. Martin's, I guess. This is the oldest bell in Australia, and at 10:30, which is in about 9 minutes' time, we have tickets, so we get to, I guess, ring the bells or do something with them. So, not really sure how this works, but I guess we'll find out shortly. Okay, so this is level 2 and has a display of bells and clocks and things. It says, please do not open the curtains while the bell ringers are performing. I think we're bell ringers. Not really sure. I guess we'll find out. It's looking out towards Elizabeth Quay on the other side, which is Fremantle.
No, that's not Fremantle.
So that's not Fremantle?
No, that's the other side of Perth.
Okay, it's the other side of Perth, wherever. Fremantle somewhere.
Fremantle's way down the river.
No, okay, never mind. Whatever.
That's across this one.
Oh, okay.
To sound thin, you get tinny resonance.
Just check to see if I'm doing my glasses.
I think first, I think I'll straight them up the back.
Watch the bell.
Please do not touch the choo-choo. Choo-choo.
Is anyone a bell ringer?
Balloon?
Bell ringer?
Yes.
Bell ringer.
Bell ringer, sorry, you need to work my pronunciation.
I did it once at my church.
Oh, really?
Long time ago.
Okay.
I work for Bell Canada.
Oh, you're Canadian too. So are we.
And may I ask where you're all from?
Canada.
Canada? Canada?
That's right.
Local.
I don't know.
Small world.
That part's.
And it's for everyone
We live in Sydney.
in Sydney,
England.
England. Okay, England. So we have one from England. That's good. So you probably recognize this church.
Yes.
Yes.
That's good. That's where the bells are from, the bells that are all up. 12 bells. So this is a live view of the bells. We're gonna chime the bells that are down, not the ones that are up. And we've got the bells from St. Martin's in the Field. It's the second largest set of bells in the world. It's the lightest bell. Let's try. If you want to stop it, you can't just let loose because otherwise you might fly up in the air. It's not what we want here. One last thing before we start ringing the bells, I want to tell you something about this bell.
Yeah.
So this is the only bell, the one, if you know.
The big one.
Yes, the big one.
Yep.
Yes, exactly. It's the only bell that has a name. It's called Zechariah. It's named after the vicar of St. Martin's in the Field. And it weighs, it's around 1.5 tons, so that's pretty
A big bell.
heavy. And because bell ringing is more about technique than about strength, even women can ring the bell if they are, if they know how to. So we have one very special bell ringing lady here, and she was doing it. She was ringing this bell until she was 70 years old. Yeah, and she's still doing it, but not this bell because it's just too much. So, how maybe we can do 2 groups at the same time, so I can take photos of everyone as well, if you want. So, who would like to start? Maybe you would like to start? You want to start this one? And if anyone wants me to take photos, I can. You too? Yes? Do you have a...
Yeah,
or just
he's gonna
me?
come in a second.
Oh, okay. That's
Heavy
good.
bells.
But you've got none, no, you don't need page one.
Yes, so I'm first gonna let you start, and then I'm gonna...
How many people do you mean hold it?
You can go this round, but you can also go the other round, which you prefer. Yes, so both, yeah, both be good. Hands on here, and then start pulling it. And then start to stop the bell now. So start with, yes. Sure you're not a bell ringer? That's good. And then you can go. And start pulling it a little bit. And then stop it. Try to stop it. I'll try to help you. So try to keep. Yes. Good. If you want, you can continue. You see if you can.
Competition.
Now try to stop it a little bit more. Yeah. Good. Okay.
You want to stand with us?
This one. And then try to make it stop very much. Be careful.
I know you could though, couldn't you?
You could fly away.
Because you can see
I'll
it.
help you. And then we
Oh, yeah.
do you?
No, so you don't know.
Yes.
I don't really stop.
Okay. So, yeah, pull, and then try to make a stopping motion. Good. So,
Early dinner?
if you want, we could try to make some real bell music.
It's how the concert.
So I'm gonna grab my sheet. So, bell number 1, 2,
Oh, God, you can get noise from that.
4, 5. Okay. 1. Yeah, good. 2.
There's no doing it. Or is it not?
Yes. 3. 4. 5. And then okay. And then 2 with just 1 pull.
Oh,
I'm really enjoying this. And then bell number 1. You have to stop it.
I think it was Angel.
Bell number 4.
I can't make mine do it. And 5.
That's not.
Yes. With
I didn't hear my bell.
I haven't heard one.
no. Push a little,
Oh, a little bit.
pull a little bit more.
Pull toward yourself and put resistance.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Good.
Pull it more.
Yeah. Oh, good. Sounds.
Mine is broken.
So, do you want me to take some more photos, or shall I invite the second group?
I should
Yeah, second.
Second
Yeah,
group?
second.
Okay.
I'm happy with my concert.
Okay.
Outstanding performance.
Okay, you're
You get exercise.
pull it towards yourself.
All right. Yes. So start and then start to stop the bell. But continue.
That one's going.
Just press that thing. Yes.
There you go.
Good.
Yeah.
You're ding-a-ling.
And then the You, Francis. Yeah.
Don't let go of it. Walter looks like he's going to pass out.
And try to stop it a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a broken. That's the broken bell.
That's broken down.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
So, are there any more people who want to try again for one last round? Or is everyone okay?
I think I could do this for a job.
Yeah, be good exercise.
So, what's been going on in the past week? Well, I did a Zoom tutorial question and answer session with a friend of mine from one of the groups, the Quilters Way, that I belong to online. She just got a 550E Janome embroidery machine, just like my machine. And so I offered to give her a hand with some things. 3.5 hours later, we had a very intense session. And I hope it was a lot of help to her, because when you start talking about machine embroidery, it isn't plug and play. You know, there's some tinkering to be done, and there's a bit of a learning curve as well. So I hope that I was able to give her some help. And of course, being a retired teacher, you know, I had to write a lesson plan before we connected with each other on Zoom, and I did. And so just to keep, there's so many things that you can talk about machine embroidery. I want to keep it organized. So did that with her, and we had another person join us as well to listen. There was one person said she was going to show up for this, wanted to be there. I sent her the link. I never saw her. You know who you are. Okay? Not that that was a big deal or a problem. But anyways, I did that. Walter and I went to a sew day at our local gay club. It was being put on by the guy who Walter takes classes online from, and there were some people there that are from his sewing group. There was only really 4 of us, but it was kind of nice. And they said, yeah, I could come along too. I was the only quilter in the group, but I got a few things done, and it was kind of nice to get out, you know, and be with a few other people. We didn't do a whole lot of socializing because everybody was working on something, but it was just nice. And there's going to be one of these, I think the person who organized it said they're going to have it the first Saturday of every month. So the next one's on December the 10th. So I think I will go to that one as well. And yeah, so that was fun. And what else? Oh, Walter decided to do some Indian one night for dinner. This was a recipe. Now, I'm not sure what it's called. It's Indian brahini or something like that. I don't know. That's not right. Anyways, Walter, this recipe was done by Glenn and Friends Cooking. We watched that YouTube channel on a regular basis, and it sounded good because we like Indian food. But this was a recipe that was a little different from other things that we've made in the past. So Walter decided to give it a go, and it turned out great. And I have a little video clip about that. And on this edition of Wally Cooks, ooh, the onions are strong. What is it that you have onions in here with spices, and you've got something here? What is it you're making, Walter?
I don't know. I'm making something. Chicken biryani by Glenn and Friends.
So it's an Indian dish.
Yeah.
Oh, I see you have chicken marinating over here.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yum. Mm. Every time I come over here, it makes me cough a lot, but
Well, there's spices in with that. Too.
smells nice. Very pleasant. Doesn't have that sort of Indian smell. It's got a different kind of smell to it. Can't really describe it. Don't have smell-o-vision. Well, it should be delicious. So this is the final product. So there's rice with this. So what is this called again?
Chicken biryani, or something like that.
Something like that. Maybe those of you that are more familiar with Indian food
Yeah.
will correct us, I'm sure, on it, but it looks very good. And we have some naan to go along with it. It's quite tasty. It was a Glenn and Friends recipe and actually pretty good. Now, another event was an astronomical event. We had a total eclipse of the moon earlier last week. You needed to be up at around 4 o'clock or so in the morning to see it. And I think it was over by about 6 or something like that. I hadn't really planned to get up to see it, but I woke up. I've been waking up early. I've been waking up at about 4 o'clock in the morning and then laying there and getting up at 5. Actually, this morning I did not. This morning I did not get up until about 5:45. But I'm going to bed later too, so my whole sleep cycle is really off, and I don't know if that's because of the time change or what. But anyways, I woke up and I thought, well, let's take a look out the window. Well, it was a nice clear night, and you could definitely see it. So I tried to take a picture of it, as you'll see here, and it's just the start of the eclipse. So you can see up in the top left-hand corner, you can see the shadow creeping over the moon. I could have got better pictures if I'd gone out on my deck and took them, but it was cold and I wasn't really dressed for it. I was in my jammies, like as if I wear them. But anyway, so I didn't go outside. I took it through the window. But anyways, yeah, that's kind of what it started to look like. So, yay, moon eclipse, excitement. And what else? Nothing. I've been working like crazy, as I said earlier, on sewing projects for Christmas. And yeah. So what's coming up? Nothing. Oh, here's excitement. We're having our annual maintenance of our furnace on Tuesday. Wow, there's something to look forward to, right? Walter has some things to do. I'm trying not to be one of those people that has a honey-do list, but he does need to paint the new framing around the new doors. I would really like to get my deacon's bench back in the front foyer because right now it's sitting in the mudroom and we're tripping over it all the time. And there's a few other little things around here that need to be done, and I don't want to be a nag. And you're going to say, well, why don't you do it yourself? Yeah, no, it would be a disaster. It's not because I am lazy. It's because I'd screw it up. I am not good at home maintenance projects at all. Walter is. But anyways, they will get done. Just have to be patient. That's all. And yeah, and I did suggest to Walter that maybe we should do a road trip this week if there's one day that's nice and go to this quilt store that's about an hour and a half away from us. I don't know if we'll be doing that or not. I'm not sure, what's on his agenda this week. I always have lots of things I can be doing. So, like that quilt needs to be quilted. I need to finish my Christmas bags, yada, 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 yada kind of thing. So anyways, nothing really exciting coming up this week. So I hope you have a good week, though. I hope you do have some exciting things coming up. And yeah, so enjoy the week. Have a good one. We'll see you next week. Bye for now.